Hi, welcome to Random Access. I'm Ben Lindahl, and today I am speaking with Victor Reynolds of Bizozzle. Victor, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Ben. It's great to be here.
It's
Thanks
great
for
to meet
having
you
me.
also. So how would you describe your company?
I think company is one word you could use to start with this to describe it. I'd say it's also kind of a startup in the state that we're at. You could also call it kind of a philosophy, kind of a school of thought, a state of mind, a cooperative, a collective, a style. All those things would be kind of correct, but also incorrect at the same time. But I think we'd use the word company to describe Bizozzle.
Okay, what are your inspirations?
Well, the first inspiration is, do you know a company called Apple?
I may have heard of them.
But maybe not the Apple you're thinking of. The original Apple, not the trademark infringing copycat on original one here in California.
Anywhere the Beatles?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
My man, yes, the Beatles, Apple company. The Beatles had the idea of, hey, what else are we going to do? We're musicians, we're doing all this stuff, but also we should start a company. And they started a company before they even knew what they wanted to do. So that's one kind of key inspiration. They had a store where they were selling clothes and fashion. They had a record label. So Bizozzle takes some inspiration from that too. They did movies as well, and all kinds of things. I would say there's a few other inspirations. Another one is the art collective called Fluxus. Also sort of a Beatles connection. Yoko Ono was in that, and John Cage, kind of interesting avant-garde composer. I would say Virgin as well, like maybe the breadth of the company, but not the spirit of the company, but the fact that Richard Branson is just kind of has all these different ventures of like also a record label, but an airline and a phone company. And I think our product philosophy is inspired by this study called the Buba Kiki effect, which I'll talk a bit more about later.
Okay, so what are your current ventures?
So I kind of alluded to it a bit. We are kind of trying to be in a lot of different areas and kind of bring this mindset to a lot of different areas of business. So we do have a record label. We're looking for artists. We have one artist called TVVR. We have kind of another artist who's kind of underground who we think has a lot of potential, and we're pushing to release a single, and we're kind of producing them as well. And there's a band in Vermont called Jack the Clock that I'm also really interested in having on the label, so I'm trying to seek them out. We're into tech, of course. That's a big important thing right now, so we're kind of exploring that. And I think one of our key products is kind of thought leadership or kind of concepts. That would be kind of a key business area.
Okay, so what are your products?
Like one of the key Bizozzle products is this thing we call original concepts. So an original concept is kind of starts with the linguistic aspect of how does something sound. So in fact, Bizozzle itself, the word Bizozzle, is an original concept. So there's another one that I like recently, the idea of a funness. So sometimes they have kind of roots in just pure sounds. Sometimes they have some kind of roots in English language or other language, but like the word funness. Obviously it's derived from fun, but I think a lot of companies right now are in this gaming industry, right? Bizozzle's about, like, fun is very important to us for sure. And they want to do something that's broader than games. I think about Roblox, for example, very popular company, but they want to use the word experiences to describe what they're doing. I heard YouTube came up with something they called playables. So game is a little bit too narrow. So I thought maybe we should have another idea to express that. So funness was that idea. So Bizozzle is also one where we kind of started with that. I just had that word kind of come to me and kind of am still in the process of figuring out what that itself means. But there's other concepts like bebopple, that's another concept, and Gort was another one I worked on. But I'm not exactly sure what those mean yet.
What is the day-to-day work culture like?
We have this idea of people talk about the 4-day work week, that's really important. There was a study in London about the 4-day work week. There's all kinds of stuff people say that productivity goes up. I just read the other day that Greece surprisingly instituted a 6-day work week. I don't know the mechanics of how that works. So at Bizozzle, we have the idea of a 0-day work week, where you never actually work. But at the same time, you're still productive. You kind of get into a mindset where, kind of like those original concepts, you know, one could come to you anytime the inspiration strikes. But we wouldn't call what we're doing work necessarily. So I would say it's kind of, yeah, this idea of the 0-day work week that's central to the culture, Bizozzle.
Okay. How is AI affecting your industry?
The AI is very interesting because this kind of highlights the intersection of that kind of original concepts theme and AI. And it's really interesting when you think about artificial intelligence. There's so much hype about artificial intelligence. And intelligence is a really important character trait, right? But what are the other character traits? What are some other character traits you can think of like intelligence? Like wisdom, charisma, luck. So one of the concepts we're working on is artificial charisma, artificial luck, maybe artificial strength. What would those look like? Intelligence, you know, we've boiled down intelligence to really just mean text and language on paper. But if you add artificial charisma, what would that look like? So we have a team exploring that right now.
Okay. So speaking of exploring things, how do you find product market fit?
Product market fit is an interesting term, and actually there was, so I'd ask a question for you. If a product falls on the shelves, but nobody's there to buy it, does it still make a sound?
It's not important. Doesn't matter.
That's what I think too. It can still be a good product.
Okay.
If no one's there to buy it, right? If you measure a product in terms of, you know, the sales or kind of those kind of outdated or kind of more common or kind of more narrow-minded metrics, right? And you're assessing your product market fit off those qualities or how many people buy something or the volume, you're not measuring how happy you made somebody or how excited you made them. So there's something I always say, which is Bizozzle is happy to be a Buba in the world of Bubas. If there's only Kiki-shaped holes in the market that people see, we're happy to be a Buba.
Okay. You're happy to be Buba shaped.
Buba shaped, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about
I
when
have
I
no
say
idea.
Buba shaped?
No.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So that was kind of one of the inspirations of the original concepts idea. So this is very interesting. So I talked about those original concepts that you start with the linguistic meaning by itself, like the word bebopple, and what that means, and think about what that means. And the Buba Kiki effect is this study that was conducted in the 50s, I think by some linguists, to try to understand the effect of, to try to understand people's perception of shapes and how they associate them with sounds. So, for example, there's a shape that that's kind of a round shape with rounded edges, and there's a shape with very spiky edges.
Sure.
So which one would you say is the Buba and which is the Kiki?
I would guess that the Buba is the rounder one.
And that's amazing because that transcends all languages. This has been being tested since the 50s. So this purple Buba, purple is just the official color of Bizozzle, so I just associate it with being purple. But the Buba Kiki effect is kind of a very important concept because it shows the power of kind of sound and how they connect to images and feelings and that sort of thing. So this study is very inspirational for me.
Cool. Yeah, Bubas are nice shapes.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, any last things you wanted to tell people about Bizozzle?
No, I think, well, I really appreciate you having me here. Bizozzle's got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, so we'll be setting up a website soon. Eventually, at some point, we may or may not be hiring. Check out that music that we're listening to. You know, down the road, we might have a launch in airline or space exploration. If you have ideas for other artificial character traits that we can work on, that'd be great. And we're always interested in hearing your ideas for original concepts.
All right, all those ideas sound very exciting. So thank you for joining me today, Victor.
Yes, thank you so much, Ben.
It was great having you.
Yes.
And thank you for watching Random Access. I've been Ben Lindahl. This has been Victor Reynolds. And I bid you good night.
Thank you.